and Vishwaraya Global Leadership Award for Excellence in Education. He has been presently awarded the prestigious Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship by the ICSSR Government of India. He was on the search committee for vice chancellors for many universities like Usmania University, Pune University, and Bangalore University. Sir has contributed significantly as a member of the many policy bodies. So I welcome you, sir. Today is your topic. Today's topic is social sciences research in India. So I invite you, sir, to deliver a lecture on this topic, please. Sir, again,
for your invitation, and I'm very happy that I'm able to talk to you. I wanted to share my screen, so just wait till my laptop gets back to your Zoom, and also allow the second entry, because that is through my laptop. My laptop has some problem about the audio.
Yes.
We are talking today about the social science research in India. It's a huge area in which I would be speaking to you. Let me make it very clear that
not audible, sir.
One problem that have occurred here. Are you able to see the screen?
मॅडम मॅडम
Hello.
मोठं म्हणजे आपला तिकडे आवाज होतो की अनमुठ म्हणजे
You have to enable the screen sharing.
जाऊ द्यायचं ना.
You have to enable the screen sharing. Hello.
You
have
can
to enable the screen sharing.
You can do it, sir. From you are authorized to do that.
No, it is not going. It is not going.
Acha, 1 second. Saddam.
Host has.
Yes, sir.
Host has to allow it.
Hello.
Please, other participants, please mute your mics. Participants, please mute your
Okay,
mics.
madam.
सर खलीफ को कॉल करो क्या?
सद्दाम सर को राइट्स दो भाई स्क्रीन शेयर के. हेलो
मान सर.
इनको सर को जो है राइट नहीं बता रहे हैं आप, या तो होस्ट बना दो उनको.
सर मैंने ऑलरेडी होस्ट बना दिया है सर को.
तो वो कहाँ से शेयर कर सकते हैं जरा जस्ट टेल हिम.
स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हो रहा है.
स्क्रीन शेयर
से स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हो रहा है.
स्क्रीन शेयर से स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हो रहा है सर.
Yeah, RL sir, can you mail me that PPT? I'll do it from my side.
Okay, 1 second. 1 second, I'll mail it. I mailed it.
Okay. It's not yet received. I'm waiting for. Saddam, can you try again? सर को अगर एक्सेस देने के लिए.
सर ऑलरेडी सर को मैंने दे रखा है सर एक्सेस.
स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं आ रहा बता रहे ना.
ऑप्शन तो है सर. पार्टिसिपेंट्स भी अभी कर सकते हैं सर, वो भी मैंने दे रखा है.
नहीं, ये यहाँ पे होस्ट हैज टू अलाउ.
Yeah, you do one thing. उनको सर को होस्ट बना दो.
सर को होस्ट बना दो सर.
हाँ, होस्ट बनाओ तो आएंगे.
ये अभी आ रहा है सर कुछ.
Can you find this? I have just shared the PPT. I think is it visible to all?
something is coming here. Yeah.
आई थिंक सर बैंडविड्थ थोड़ा सा वीक होने की वजह से लेट से हो रहा है सर. Maybe.
Exactly. It's not clear, I think.
PPT is not visible.
No, it's not visible, sir.
No, not visible.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
I'll send it to you also by mail.
Yeah, I'm not yet received it. Just refreshing that mail.
Yes, sir. Your screen sharing is started, sir.
It started?
Yeah, you just
Are you
But I have shared
able to
it.
see?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
it is.
sir.
Now
It
it's
is
come.
visible.
It is.
Okay. Wonderful. This is something which you have called me on a topic. मुझे जो गाना याद आता है आज पुरानी राहों
Here, sir.
ऑडियो लिटिल बिट आप थोड़ा सा पास करके कर लीजिए, शायद बेटर हो जाएगा. वीडियो इज गुड. I think audio is the issue.
Audio.
PPT I shared with the participants. They have it now. आप ऑडियो पे बात कर लीजिए सर, क्योंकि everybody is now having PPT. I shared your PPT with participants. Sir, are you trying to re-log in, sir?
Not audible, sir.
Also, yes, sir. याचं कसं आहे सर, आता समजा शॉर्ट टर्म केलं ऑनलाईन दोन्ही कॉलेज पण केलं एका टायमाला, नवीन पण केलं म्हणजे ते तर चालतं ना आता. चालतं.
इधर से चले गए।
मी काल झूम वर बोलत होते तर
हेलो, आ रहे हैं क्या? I am able to hear all of you. I am asking continuously, are you able to hear? कोई मुझे रिस्पांस नहीं आ रहा है.
अभी आ रही सर आपकी आवाज.
अभी
Now
आ रही
only
है
we
सर
are
आपकी आवाज.
getting.
नहीं, रिस्पांस ही नहीं आ रहा. मैं कंटिन्यूअसली बोल रहा हूँ.
नहीं अभी आ रही है ना सर आपकी आवाज.
आ रही सर.
अभी आ रही है सर आपकी आवाज. और आप सर पीछे का विंडो बंद कर लीजिए सर, या शीशा लगा लीजिए, क्योंकि रोशनी से आप दिख नहीं पा रहे हैं.
अभी आ रही है ना आवाज?
देशपांडे सर आवाज येतोय आता, क्लिअर येतोय. क्लिअर आवाज येतोय सर आता.
Thank you. Now,
Okay, sir.
I have shared the screen. Let me begin with the first slide. That is always. Now ask others to mute the mic because in between somebody is talking.
Participants, please mute your mics. All of you, please mute your mics. It will be very disturbing.
Okay, madam.
प्रोफेसर देशपांडे जी, वो आपके पीछे शायद शीशा जो है उसको अगर if possible वो
मैंने बंद कर दिया. I have changed my space.
Okay, go ahead sir. You're audible.
I have changed my. Okay. You see, the culture of research in social sciences came directly from sciences. Sciences have developed their own culture of research, and therefore what we have had, the science is an attempt to understand the human mind, find the connection between the world of ideas and the world of phenomena.
बुरे साहब हिंदी ना मत बोले. हाँ, और what English में शब्द बढ़ते ले बुरा मत.
बीच में कोई बोल रहा है. Hello.
Participants, please mute all of you.
Somebody is talking in between.
Yes.
Just Telugu, that the speaker is speaking in English. I could understand if this man was telling that the speaker is speaking in English. So how do you understand? I could understand the Telugu version of it.
Okay. Please, andaru ban cheyandi మీ మైక్లు.
Okay.
Now it's
social sciences is something which goes beyond sciences, and therefore it is understanding the nuances of the society in which human being is a component. It is the interconnection between the various social phenomena with all those scientific phenomena. In fact, social sciences go beyond sciences because human beings change every minute, every second, and every fraction of second. It is monism in science because science has very little to go beyond their space and their time. If a copper sulfate is prepared in 1950 using copper and sulfuric acid, In 1970 also, copper and sulfuric acid gives copper sulfate. But if there was a poverty in 1950 and in 1970 we find the determinants of poverty, they are different. Therefore, please stop the disturbance in between. Therefore, there is a monism in science. Sciences have their doors, windows, their floor and the roof. Social sciences do not have any such thing. Social sciences has a freedom totally. And therefore, research is not only difficult in social sciences, but researcher also can tune the research. ये बेल बीच में बहुत बज रहा है, टिंग 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 टिंग. Let me get to the basic tenets of economics and social sciences. In social sciences, we have objectivity, but objectivity is something like a theorem of limit in mathematics. Similarly, ethical neutrality always in sciences gets defined absolutely unbiased. In social sciences, ethical neutrality is always due to the society and society manages it. Similarly, replicability in social sciences is something which is difficult, because what was the work on inflation during 50s, during 60s, during 70s is different after the new economic policy. The new economic policy gives totally differently. Can you mute this bell in between? The empirical evidence, which is also in social sciences, if the bell doesn't go, I will stop the lecture. Please stop the bell.
Saddam, can you do that?
जी सर, उसमें आप डिसेबल कर दीजिए सर, वो जो लोग ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं ना उसको डिसेबल कर दीजिए आप.
किसमें करना है
सर? एक ऑप्शन आता है नीचे, आप जो लोग होस्ट हैं उसमें ऑप्शन आता है कि जो पार्टिसिपेंट जब ज्वाइन करते हैं तो एक बेल बजती है, तो उसको आप हटा दीजिए तो अपने आप बजेगी नहीं सर. लोग ज्वाइन करेंगे या छोड़ेंगे सर?
I'm not able to see. Can you do that from your side?
नहीं सर, अगर मैं को होस्ट होता तो मैं कर देता सर, क्योंकि होस्ट और को होस्ट ही कर सकते हैं इसको.
Who is talking this? Shravan.
जी सर, डॉक्टर श्रवण त्रिपाठी.
मैं आपको शेयर बनाता हूँ अभी.
जी सर, आप कर दीजिए तो मैं कंट्रोल भी कर दूंगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं.
सद्दाम, वो जो बता रहे हो कर दो ना.
Okay, now is predictability.
अच्छा सर, मैं देख रहा हूँ सर, ये बज रहा है जो सर उसका सर पार्टिसिपेंट ऐड हो रहा है तो
नहीं, उसको ऐड रिमूव कर दीजिए. समथिंग इज देयर.
उसको क्लोज कर दो ना डोर. You close the door so that nobody joins.
या ज्वाइनिंग का बंद कर दो.
हाँ, ज्वाइनिंग बंद कर दो.
ठीक है, डन हो गया सर.
ओके, सॉरी सर.
जो हम क्लास में करते हैं ना, once the lecturer starts giving the lecture, nobody is allowed to enter in. Otherwise, the entire class gets disturbed, the teacher gets disturbed.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Now, I begin again.
Okay, sir. It's done. It's done, sir. It's done.
I begin again. There are 4 important tenets of science: objectivity, replicability, predictability, and universality. All these 4 tenets of science are also tenets of social sciences. In addition to that, the ethical neutrality, empirical evidence, open access, and generalization are the additional 4 tenets. Now the problem is, in sciences, these operate like machine. Objectivity in sciences, like if I do some research in Bangalore and Professor Fazal Rahman, it is scientific research, the results will be same. But if it is social science research and he is trying to look out for the reasons for poverty in Hyderabad, reasons for poverty in Bangalore are going to be totally different. Similarly, the empirical evidence in and replicability. I distribute caps in Bangalore. The distribution of caps in Bangalore will not take up as much as it will take in Hyderabad. Distribution, the predictability. What is the prediction of a particular thing in Hyderabad as against Bangalore will be totally different in social sciences, but sciences, it will remain the same. Open access of social sciences. Now I go back to the earlier slide. Because of the disturbance, I did not say two things. The research called ARC, sciences researches are: A is attribution of measurement, R is relation of a phenomena with another phenomena, and C is classification of groups. Now these are the three important components of any social science research. Any social science research, and there is something which is developing in a different manner than the sciences research. Sciences also have attribution of measurement, relationship of a phenomena, and the compartmentalization. Like when we take pandemic, the attribution of measurement is the testing of COVID. Please stop those people who are entering now. Either they enter or I exit.
Sir, I actually am not technical person. That's the issue. Saddam, you said nobody is entering now. Hello.
Anyway, we are totally indisciplined people. In fact, we enter the classroom anytime when we feel, and we call ourselves teachers. When I was told by Fazal Rahman that I should be here by 11:30, I was here by 11:30. By 11:45 exactly, I logged in. Unfortunately, there were technical errors, but yes, I am surprised that the teachers are entering at 12 o'clock for a session which was supposed to be at 11:30.
Yeah, now
I pity to call them teachers. I am ashamed to call them teachers. The phases in social science research we need to understand first. First thing is, initially it was understanding of the phenomena. That is, what is the phenomena? How do we understand it? And therefore, initial sociological research was just to understand the caste, the community, the process of the process of tribal formation. Understanding was to understand the income distribution, village systems, land distribution, land ownership, inequalities. In political science, initial understanding was how politicalism, what is socialism, what is Marxism, Leninism, etc. Then we got into expansion and compartmentalization. Expansion and compartmentalization is each discipline or subject went ahead to expand, but then along with that, there was a compartmentalization. For example, in sociology and anthroposociology has a different compartment. Industrial sociology was a different compartment. And then came specialization and super specialization. This was an influence of the Western world, which was essentially wanting knowledge to be compassed. Westernization had crushed the initial feeling of Indianization of social science. In fact, in Indianization of social science, understanding was holistic. Therefore, once upon a time, and many of you may not know, degrees for postgraduate degrees used to be in history, political science, and economics together. The student has to study 3 subjects at a time. Slowly, history became separate, sociology became separate, political science became separate, and therefore, when Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics was to start in Pune, it was named as Politics and Economics because the London School of Economics was actually London School of Political Economy. And therefore, from monolithic social sciences, we went into compartmentalized social sciences. Empiricism, like it came from physics. Physics, any physicist believes in measurement. And one of the famous physicists, Fritjof Capra, who is a professor of theoretical physics in California University, he said that physicists unfortunately believe that everything can be measured. In fact, measurements can be finer and finer. Therefore, from the scale, vernier caliper, from there, spectrometer, from there, atomic measurement, and therefore, the measurement has its own limitations. We fenced the common. The common land was totally social sciences, and we fenced it into smaller and smaller disciplines like agriculture economics, international economics, industrial economics. In political science, political economy theory, political economy of political systems, politics of partisans, and then finally came interdisciplinarity. Sooner or later, people understood that if an economist doesn't understand what goes on in sociology, will not be a perfect economist. And a sociologist, if he doesn't understand what goes in political science, will not be delivering anything innovative. And thus, interdisciplinarity began, which we will touch again. Social relevance and the policy came later on. These phases are chronological phases, and the relevance, what is important for the society, what is required for the society came into being. And finally, research was marketization of commodity. And the moment research became commodity, we were not able to do anything without the market for it. Naturally, there are certain disciplines which were not having a great market, something like philosophy, something like ancient Indian history, something like the ancient literature in Farsi, ancient literature in Arabic. These are the things which were absolutely out of fashion because they are not takers. The second way of understanding the development of social science research is assimilation phase, hereditary learning or within family phase, within family learning, understanding and copying the research from the Western universities or from other universities, systematizing the process of learning, that is with the help of peer, with the help of supervisor, top-down approach of learning, that is somebody tells you do this and a researcher goes and asks for the topics, knowledge and market. The market requires, and I will tell you that in MGNREGS, there was an employment created for the workers in the fields in rural areas. But MGNREGS also created huge employment, extremely huge employment for researchers. Umpteen number of theses, umpteen number of research projects were done on MG and RGS. Now the problem is that it became a market. Today, pandemic. Now, direct as if there is no other thing which is as important or as responsible or as core in social sciences as pandemic. Commodification, I talked to you about. The worst commodification is done in academic field is by API. Everything goes according to API now. Is the journal having impact factor? And then certain journals prepare their own impact factors. This has a heavy toll on teaching because large number of teachers are more busy with developing the commodity called research. It's not the knowledge called research. It's a commodity called research, and therefore this commodification of research is something which was important. The social science research is caught now in what is called paddock or corral. Paddock or corral is something what you can see in the picture. It's an enclosure for the horses. Horses are left in that enclosure, and the horses believe that they cannot cross the enclosure, rather they have to be within the enclosure. Similarly, the researchers feel that there is an enclosure around them, what is called the topic, the supervisor, a doctoral committee. These are the bosses. The supervisor tells you to do this or do that. Supervisor generally is a top-down approach. He or she dictates what the researcher should do. It should be the other way around. The researcher should find innovative ideas and test it with supervisor because the supervisor has better knowledge. Too much theoretical or too much repetitive contents, extremely repetitive research are going on. Then there is a micro compartmentalization approach. Lack of preparing students or researchers in problem solving skills. There used to be once upon a time, every thesis used to end with policy prescriptions. Most of these policy prescriptions were useless and stayed in the library. But then both supervisor as well as student feels that we have to give policy prescriptions, which rarely and in no case, no policy makers see that. Then there is a gap between what is asked by the society and what is given by the researcher. This gap is crucial and critical for the use of research. If research is done in such a way that it is of no use to the society, then there is a gap between need and the delivery. They don't need it, and we deliver it. In the process, a good number of disciplines have become poor. They have been undernourished. For example, languages. For example, philosophy. For example, certain branches of history. For example, certain ancient skills. For example, a good amount of research on the scriptures. Now, these are the things which became almost negligible. And what Sir C.V. Raman had said long back, that a student of today are being taught by the teachers of yesterday with the curriculum which is day for yesterday's. The problem is that the researchers hardly innovate into the theories. There are broadly 6 groups of theories. You all know PhD, and if I ask what is the meaning of PhD, each one will tell it's a doctor of philosophy. And you return back the question, doctor of philosophy, what is the philosophy you have put in your thesis? Which is that philosophy? And even the supervisors become speechless because they do not know what is the philosophy they have written in their thesis. They have done research, They have done tables, they have done empirical research, they have done case studies, they have done laboratory research and all that. But then what is the philosophy that they have imbibed into their thesis is not known to them. There are 6 groups of theory or philosophies. Predictive instrumental group, which is we can predict something out of our research. Conventional group, which works on the modify the hypothesis that have been given earlier. There is a rhetoric analytical group, which is dominated by the methods of statistics, methods of econometrics. Then the group dealing with the phenomena, deals with the current phenomena or the phenomena that troubles the society. For example, the rural reverse migration or the increasing poverty in rural areas and declining poor in urban areas. Evolutionary epistemological group, which is epistemology is the nature of science. We understand the society from understanding or from observing the society. And the last group is pragmatic. Each one of us must look back what group our thesis falls in. And these theoretical constructs are of a few types. These are 7 theoretical constructs. One is pure logical, non-verifiable. Second is pure empirical, where the empirical data, both qualitative and quantitative, are collected and analyzed. Third one is time and location specific. The tribes in region of Himalaya, their behavior, their economy, their livelihood systems, their poverty are totally different. Institutional, caste is an institution, religion is an institution. How institutional theories develop into the entire research paraphernalia. Then there are empirical and verifiable theories, which have been put earlier, and then we try to verify it with new hypotheses. Positivism and normativism are 2 basic theoretical traits and philosophical traits that enter into social science research. These are the 2 things that are largely, even to now also people are entering. I am ashamed of that person who has entered just now into the class. He or she should not call themselves as teachers. Interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. This is something which is important. Now, please, Fazal Rahman Saab, please remember next time it rings, I stop my lecture. I stop my lecture, next time it rings and another person enters into.
Yeah, I logged it. I don't know how it's doing it. I mean, the entry is logged from my side. I'm not able to understand.
It's a technical problem, then I can excuse you. I'm also technically bad. Anyway. Anyway.
These are all
effects. That's all right. That's all right. But a teacher must get angry on the students, otherwise students don't behave. So you and me, we know it well. Anyway, that anger is only temporary, fragmentary.
I know, you're a saint.
Research in social sciences, it goes through these 5 stages. Learning, first we have to learn. Second, assimilate what we have to learn, what we learned. Innovate in the learning, give the feedback, and then finally research what we have learned. In fact, the entire research goes through this. And therefore, I defined an average researchers and a good researcher. The average researchers are umpteen number. They dominate the field. They rely on the old research textbooks, notes done by the earlier researchers. Largely the supervisor dictates. Largely they go by what has been done earlier in that field. they are not comfortable with the new technology or new traits in research. Anything new told to them, they resent. I can give you an example of a political science research student who wanted to work with me on efficiency of bureaucracy. I told her that she can get into psychological traits, and the moment she got into psychological traits, political scientists of great repute told that no, we cannot allow psychology into political science. They refuse to acknowledge that I have a very conformist approach, that I cannot working on the efficiency of development schemes for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. I asked him, you must read about the caste. He went to the library and he met a professor of sociology, a very eminent professor of sociology. He said, I'm working with Professor Deshpande in economics and I want to learn about caste. The professor of sociology said, no, caste is something which sociologists should work on. Economists are not supposed to read that. This boy comes back and I told him that either you read or get lost. And after that, he started reading. The chapter which he wrote on economics of caste became one of the seminal chapters and seminal work in the field of economics, because either two be not linked or preferred by seniors. It's an innovative. So seniors, oh, that's not research. I remember is a rebel of ideas. Should be rebel in ideas, should give ideas such that these are not palatable to the earlier researchers. They should be consistent, should absorb all the criticism and defend it. Remember that thesis has to be defended. And all of you, most of you will vouch that today, when the Viva is to be conducted, thesis is not defended, Viva is given. The moment Viva is decided, that the person is granted PhD. And these are the kind of people who dominate in the field, and therefore they enter the classroom even after 1 hour of the class, still they are entering. And that's a shame. The interdisciplinarity is something which is an important component of research in social sciences today. And I'll come to next on what are the important traits, theoretical traits in 3 important disciplines. But before that, let me get into interdisciplinarity. Initially, it begins with your own discipline, then you start matching the concepts with other disciplines. These concepts have to be matched, and then they have to be modified or redefined by the concepts of other disciplines. And after redefining that, you set a particular issue like interdisciplinarity in political science. The theories are Weberian theory, the theories are institutional theories, the theory are political systems theory, and additional one is the theory of leader-like quality theory, or what is called MBTI, or the behavioral science theory. Now, all this combined together made interdisciplinarity, and we modified it in order to give the final thesis. These important theories that have been developed over years in social sciences, because these are the ones which have given boost to social science research in India and abroad. First thing is in sociology, structural functionalism. What is the structure of the society? How the society functions, and what are these functions which are important? Which are the functions which are redundant? Because society is developing, and therefore one has to do the structural functionalism. Your computer operator is not able to block that ting ting. unfortunately. Conflict is something which is an important aspect of research today. Remember, once upon a time, conflict and conflict theories were from the Marxian perspective, because unless there is a conflict between, my ears will go.
Yeah, sir. I'm also really concerned.
No, you
because
go,
session
don't
between
allow, refuse those people to come in.
people are not coming. I think this is something else, sir. It is not.
Okay.
Nobody is
Okay.
joining. It is
Okay,
something.
Then there is the conflict, the theory of conflict, which began from the Marxian sociology or Marxian economics. The conflict creates groups, and once there is a conflict between the groups, the exploiter and the exploitee is out on the ground, and the researchers which direct themselves to conflict. Afterwards, the conflict has entered into economics and political science. Today, the research in the conflict theory and creation of conflict is something which is seminal or most important today, because today the society is getting fragmented. People do not believe each other. In fact, COVID-19 has fragmented the society further. Unfortunately, they have used a very wrong concept called social distancing. It's physical distance. In fact, Professor Fazal Rahman and myself, we met quite some between him and me. It's almost nearly a few hundred kilometers. And therefore, what it cannot be called social distance, it has to be called the physical distance. We make mistakes and we make mistakes. Therefore, the theory of conflict is one of the emerging areas in which the researchers need to get involved, both all the three disciplines: economics, sociology, and political science. Ashutosh Varshney has written on the religious conflicts in India. Varshney has totally gone wrong. Religious conflicts actually began not from religiosity. They began from the elements which were undeserving element in the society. These were spread across religions, and they had their fights in between them, and they colored the entire conflicts into religious conflicts. Unfortunately, most of the learned people also got into, without learning what is theory of conflict, they got into Ashutosh Varshney is one of those who has misunderstood the conflicts as the religious. They were not religious conflicts. They were conflicts between bad elements of a religion against the bad elements of other religion. Third thing, the symbolic interactionism. The interactions between society, between migrants and the residents, the interactions between the persons coming from abroad and we. This is something important. Role of theory is extremely important for social construction. The feminist radical separatist, it should have been separate. Feminist theories are important in sociology. They are also important in economics. The other day only, one of my research students asked me, "Sir, I would like to work on feminism, but in economics it is not defined." I said, who has not defined it? It is there in economics. It is there in political science. And therefore, feminist theory, it goes across the disciplines. Then the radical separatist, the ideological platform to investigate, to research into radical separatism. Radcliffe Brown, Auguste Comte, Max Luhmann, John Rex are the authors who have given the basic platform. But it's not necessary that we have to go by Comte. We can go by our own instincts.
but we have to read Comte before that. In economics, we come to business cycles. Business cycle theory is something which has not been understood. We teach it in the class, but not understood by many of us, because what are the provoking factor? What are the depressing factors in business cycle are important. So also consumption, theory of consumption. Abhijit Banerjee came out with a radical idea that you give 10,000 to the poor and poverty will be reduced significantly. I agree, but significantly for a few days, because I know it very well how my rural folks behave when they get 10,000 rupees in hand as cash. First thing is that they have their own priority of consumption, in which many people know that liquor tops up. Liquor tops up, consumption of food, consumption of luxury goods are at the top of the bracket. And within no time, the money is completed. The poor remains poor. Abhijit Banerjee possibly has not seen what is poor, because he stayed by the side of the slum and he observed the slum children from a distance. He has written that I observed them from a distance. Observing from a distance and living with them are two different things. The public finance is another important component which remains under research, which has to get into, because in public finance, large number of controversies are coming up. For example, the autonomy of Reserve Bank of India, or the FRBM rule, which says 3.5% of the deficit finance of GDP. Why 3.5%? Nobody questioned. And where did this 3.5% came from? No public finance expert questioned that. The problem is that somebody says that this is East or this is West, and like a herd, all people behave like goats. They say this is East or this is West. Similarly, there are a large number of things. I know very well, all of you, those who are well versed in public finance, know it very well that after every budget they say fiscal deficit is so much % of GDP. I ask them, at the time of budget, are the GDP figures available? Because GDP goes in 4 times. First, rough estimates, projected estimates, first revision, second revision, and final estimates. Now, the final estimates comes 4 years after the first forecast. Assuming that the first forecast or the final estimate is something terribly foolish. And we have been doing over years. We have the rational choice theory. Rational choice theory is something which I dictate to you, my rational choice. And therefore, I feel that this is something which is preferred by the poor. I bring out Kisan Credit Card. And the Kisan Credit Card is given to a Kisan who goes to the bank, asks to the bank, hello, how much do I get on this? He says, you get 18,000 rupees. Can I take it now? Because Kisan knows that it is his right. Oh yes, you can take it. The work of the clerk is reduced. Kisan gets 18,000. He is supposed to get it for over a year, but he takes it in one go. Comes out, first thing is needs money. He borrows from the money lender. Despite the Kisan Credit Card, the Kisan is still borrowing from money lender. The reason is this simple. Then the social choice theories, largely the political systems were the dominant field initially in political science, trying to understand the systems and conflicts within system and across systems. After that, sovereignty and the colonialism, or the remnants of colonialism, became prominent research agenda for many political scientists. The propaganda model, the party systems, the psephology, etc., came up later on how the people vote and why do they vote. After that came the corporatist theory. That is how the decision making takes place in the entire political field. The decision making process in political science or in the political administration is quite complex. Corporatist theory is one of the theories which explain the decision making process. And we think that we are in a democratic society. Our parties are significantly democratic. Unfortunately, these are autocratic. You take any party in the entire country, in this country, India, which is supposed to be constitutionally organized as a democratic republic. You take any party, it's governed by 4 to 5 members only. Sometimes these are well-known members. And all the times there are operators below these 5. They operate these 5 members, and finally we call it as democracy because in the party system, those 5 at the top, you take BJP, there are only 4 or 5 who dominate the party. You take Congress, there are 4 or 5 who dominate the party. You take Samajwadi, there are 4 or 5 who dominate the party. You take Nitish Kumar. This is democracy of 4 or 5. Unfortunately, that is what was not envisaged by Ambedkar. Therefore, at the time of signing the Constitution in November 26, 49, Dr. Ambedkar said that we are giving democracy to a country in which the social structure itself is not democratic. We need to investigate into the corporatist theory of decision making. The Charishma theory is something which came up with Jawaharlal Nehru, with Indira Gandhi, then with Jayaprakash Narayan. It went to Rajiv Gandhi, then came back again to Sonia Gandhi, from there to Modi, from there to other people like Deve Gowda, etc. And then local satraps also are the charismatic leader. The charismatic leaders are the ones who show the dreams, and the charismatic political science is something which remained underdeveloped. The public choice theory, which is in economics, which is in sociology, has also come in political science, and therefore that is another thing. The last one is elite capture theory. The elite capture theory is every party, and I'm surprised why we, the learned professors of colleges, universities, and many places, we have closed our eyes to a very simple fact which comes quite often in the newspapers and is available in public domain. If I say, I do nothing except in politics, I stand for the election, I win the elections, I become minister, and do nothing to earn my money. And my wealth today is 250 crores. My wealth today is 875 crores. My wealth in the 5 years increased by 60 crores. A crore a month. I'm not telling the examples which are from the fiction. 60 crores in 5 years is our Honorable Sharad Pawarji. Increment of 60 crores in 5 years. 1 crore a month. And we blindly follow the leaders in front of us without knowing or without investigating, without researching into the this elite capture of the entire politics. We have gone different years data. I got this from a friend of mine at Giri Institute of Development Research, Lucknow. We tabulated for a book, we tabulated the data on what has been the dominant research in social sciences. What we find is economics and sociology dominate in terms of articles and books. Largely, in the same areas which I have told earlier. Social history has less takers in the articles, but more in the books. Social geography and international studies are almost similar, but then who is becoming poorer? The poorer is the national security strategic studies, it's a defense studies. Poorer is the philosophy and religiosity. Poorer is the social psychology. Poorer are the other research areas. And when we go for each discipline in economics, least research is done in political economy and economic systems. Least research is done, second comes the public economics and public finance, the decision making in the public funding. In sociology, social work and social anthropology, the least one is on social anthropology or sociology of religion. In fact, we do not work on religion and religiosity for one reason, that there is a dogmatism which is very strong in all religions and religiosity. Unless the new development and completely religious development goes into the research in religiosity, we will not be able to see new horizons in research. Any research, whether it is economics, sociology, political science, we need to avoid the dogmatism and try to reach new horizons. If only we attempt to reach new horizons, we will be able to do something which is, least research is done on Western political thought. Least research is done on international organizations, and the maximum research is done on Indian government and politics. Largely the political systems, largely the decision makings, largely the party systems, largely the ideological systems, and then the comparative government is also another component which has been developed. What is future for us? The future for us is old-fashioned methodology are pedagogical. New-fashioned methodologies are andragogical, heterogogical. Now, these are the methodologies where we learn beyond the boundaries of what is given. Unfortunately, social media, how do they develop? Where do they lack? What they don't do, what they should do. The second book, which is Social Science Research, which is contributed by many, and I was the main coordinator of that entire work. And since I was a paid coordinator, I am not the author because I took the money from ICSR in order to coordinate that book, which was finally edited by, under the name of Professor Thorat and Professor Samar Verma. The book really deals with all the disciplines and tells you what had been, and I have given you the gist. The gist follows in the modern methods of andrology and heotology. We have been in empirics, but we have not challenged measurements. We have not challenged the poverty measurement as of now, a simple thing. And if it was a class, I would have asked this question to my students, to my participants. The question is, do you consider the persons who sleep day and night or who have no houses as poor? Do you consider the people who sleep in the pipe and make their house in the pipes are poor? Are they poor? Do you consider the people who have a small hutment like on the pavement? Are they poor? Do you consider the nomads who move from village to village or from gully to gully as poor? Do you consider the beggars as poor? And the answer is yes to all. Answer is yes to all. All these are poor. Essential to understand and hold your brain. that these are the people who are excluded from the poverty calculation of this country for your years. I am telling this with responsibility, and I explain you how. The poverty is computed with the NSSO data. National Sample Survey Organization makes the household listing. I repeat, makes the household listing which is done by the census. Census household listing is on the house, they put a number. And this household listing is taken by NSSO in order to select the sample from whom they understand the consumption pattern. Once they understand the consumption pattern, they calculate those who are consuming below certain threshold and call them as poor. Unfortunately, all these people who are not being registered inflation and ages, we are talking instrumentalism, positivism, perspectivism, phenomenalism, and structuralism is something which has to be redefined, re-understood, reformulated, and re-engineered. How do we do it? We do it with modern methods of understanding, which is andragogy. In andragogy, I understand the phenomena by participating in the phenomena. In heutagogy, I am challenged by the phenomena and I challenge the phenomena. I am challenged and I challenge. This is interfacing with the society, with live examples, ideological changes, new challenges, emerging new phenomenon, the new information boom, absorbing them, absorbing the competitions, looking into the new softwares, new ideas, time versus understanding. Please put up your mic. Please put up mic. Time versus understanding. Innovativeness and interdisciplinarity, and the new raw material. Finally, you finish your talk, only then I'll talk. Finish it. Whosoever is talking in between, let him finish it. Finally, it is a game of Madari. Madari is a street snake charmer.
Yes.
The Madari has large number of tricks in the bag and knows how to see and research. I must tell you that one thing, before understanding research, we must understand the discipline of class. And it's unfortunate that I have to tell teachers to learn the discipline of class. If the teachers are so indisciplined, as I could see, we cannot improve the lot of students. We are actually hitting our head on the wall. This is the lot of the teachers that we have with us, and this lot will never be able to inculcate discipline among the students if they are indisciplined. I thank you, Fazal Rahman. Fazal is a very close friend of mine, and therefore I took liberty. If you have any questions, please go ahead asking them.
I'm really sorry, sir. Some technical snacks were there, and though it was a very informative lecture, some these hitches happened, and I'm sorry for that. And participants, if you have any clarification from sir, please you can ask. I'm grateful that sir you have taken time and you're with us.
No, thank you. But I wanted to tell this because this
Yes.
word should be copied by you. My words should be copied
Yes.
by you.
Yes.
You are the people who are going to lead the society further. Unless we, the teachers, we don't become strict, we will not be able to discipline the lot which is in front of us.
Yes, sir.
So
You have
go
given
ahead.
us. Yeah.
Asking questions. You
Yeah.
can put
Yeah.
them in
Anybody?
the chat box. I'll answer them also.
Yes. Yes. Go ahead. Anybody?
Participants, if you have any question, you can ask.
Yes, ma'am. Hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who is it?
Hello. Am I
Participants.
audible?
Yes, Mr. Chatterjee.
Yes.
Do
Yes.
it.
Sir, at first I want to convey my sincere gratitude to my teacher, Dr. Deshpande, for his lucid presentation. Sir, my question is that he has told that Abhijit Binayak Bandyopadhyay, if we supply money 10,000, then the poverty of that marginal people will not be reduced completely. Sir, actually, whenever hello, am I audible, sir? Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead. You are audible.
Yeah. Sir, actually, whenever supply of money to the poor people, that generates the purchasing power of that people, and they go to the market and spend the money, and reversely, demand will increase in the market. So in this process, I mean that poverty will be reduced.
This is a very first thing is that you do not know the name of the person properly. Abhijit Banerjee. It's not Bandyopadhyay.
Banerjee and
Abhijit
Bandyopadhyay
Banerjee and no, they are not same. Some people put Banerjee and he puts Banerjee. He doesn't put Bandyopadhyay. Chatterjee and Chattopadhyay is same, but people put Chatterjee and Chattopadhyay separately. It's for our, they are of same caste. The names are morphed over time. Deshpande and Pandey are not the same. Deshpande are Deshpandes, Pandey are Pandes. They may be the same for others. The second thing is that it's a very strange way of understanding that demand is created. Demand for what? You try it, you give 10,000 to a person. He will not go and buy the necessities first. He will go and buy the luxuries first. The problem is that we have not understood the consumption pattern. If you get your arrears, do you buy your food or do you buy a sofa set? Or do you buy a car? I mean, this is simple economics. We have to understand that additional money is always used for luxury spending. This is additional money. The money earned is spent for food spending. This is the theory of consumption. I don't want to say that Abhijit Banerjee has not understood the theory of consumption, but he has not understood the theory of consumption of rural India. Try it like RCT, give a randomized control design to the poor. Please don't tell them that we are having an experiment with you. Just distribute the money and keep quiet and see what do they spend on. Or tomorrow, sir, you please go back to your house and give your maid servant 5,000 rupees. Don't tell her what to buy. Say that this is 5,000 rupees for you. After 10 days, you ask her, what did you buy out of 5,000? Come back to me, how much of it she has spent on food. Therefore, this is momentary. This will create demand only for certain commodities which are not essential commodities. Next.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? Hello. Any session?
I can see Ram Sapkar's son in the video.
Okay. Is he?
Sapkar's son I can see. Is he attending the class
Yes.
here?
Yes. Is he your student?
Ram Sapkar, I know him because his son is being seen on the video. He is not there. Now I can see Ram Sapkar.
Yes.
How are you?
Fine, sir.
तुमचं पोरग दिसत होतं मध्येच. बाजूला सरकडे भाऊ.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
May I ask you a few things, sir, if you kindly allow? Sir, you was talking about that social science research needs an interdisciplinary approach and a critical perspective to understand the social phenomenon and all. I am surprising, sir, that we are having so many programs on research and so much of emphasis on research. But if we look at the syllabi of at the graduation and the post-graduation level, we find that a very superficial level of attention is being given to the subject called research, and that leads to certain level of problems we encountered in future, both as an academician as well as a researcher. This is one thing, sir. Another second thing is that when we talk about the social science discipline altogether, I feel that the critical consciousness about questioning existing social reality is very important. And because you have talked about so many theories and the perspectives, we find a complete I find it missing that certain critical perspectives are not being part of social science syllabi in many of the disciplines, except few. For example, I have a background of social work, and at the level of my teaching profession, I come across thinkers like Foucault, Galtung, and Gramsci. But at the level of post-graduation level, I didn't find these names, because studying these theorists and these scholars, we come across that how we need to question the existing social realities and how we should try to locate the intersecting vectors of marginalization and vulnerabilities. Because you have mentioned about publications, and we can see that work on sociology of religion is very scanty. But if I correlate sociology of religion, that there will be hardly any, very few writings and very few work. Because if I work on the issues of Muslim women, and I correlate it with the issue of sociology of gender, it will become very complex. So will you please put light on these things?
You are absolutely correct, and I appreciate. I did not get your name.
Sir, this is Muhammad Israr Alam. I am assistant professor in social work at Maulana Azad
Very
National
nice,
University.
very nice. Muhammad Israr, the problem is today the intellectual spirit is lost, and I am very happy that I could see that intellectual spirit in your speaking. Wonderful. I appreciate it. Look here, that we from the college, what in the student days itself, we refuse the student to ask questions. We do not want them to ask questions. And we do not want them to challenge the basic tenets. We say that we prescribe the textbook. After prescribing textbook, we'll teach that in the class. You learn that and answer according to textbook in the answer scripts. If you answer anything other than the textbook, I will not give you marks. And if he doesn't get marks, he is failing. The problem is, therefore, he is trained to be dogmatic and to be textbookish, closed in that chorale or paddock, what I told.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we do not allow them to think freely and also question the problems of the society. Even in the society, if we question the problem in the society, I used to ask question to my mother, why can't we put flower with left hand on the god? She said, oh, you should not do that. I said, what is, the God only has given both the hands, right as well as left. What is wrong this hand has done? As against this, they are almost same. You cannot challenge dogmatism. And unless we challenge dogmatism, we will not learn new lessons. And this is everywhere, in every society, every part of the social sciences. We need to learn one lesson of challenging the dogmatism. If we challenge the dogmatism, we are likely to progress not only in our self-thinking, but also thinking for the society. You, Illeri. You take, for example, all those best.
Yeah, but it's okay. Sorry,
Hey, Kannada ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡ್ರಿ. Hey, ಕನ್ನಡ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ. I don't know who is this.
This is Jagdevappa. I'll see that he's removed. Okay, sir.
Thank you. Jagdevappa, please behave.
He is repeatedly doing. We'll see what to do.
You just don't give the certificate. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't give the certificate. I think they will learn the lesson. In our schools, we do teach that way. Unfortunately, nowadays it cannot be done. Anyway, what I was telling you, I lost the point. It was quite an important point I was making.
Sir, you was talking about...
Only one thing I tell you is, sir is one of the wonderful teachers I could interact. I was telling that you look into all those great philosophers, all those great people in our country, anywhere else. Starting from Marx, Lenin, Mao, you start anybody, Shankaracharya, Prophet Muhammad, you start anybody. They were the ones who challenged dogma. They challenged the dogma. But then we dogmatize them. We dogmatize them and we do not try to improve upon that. It is essential for us to improve. And all those in the entire world who challenged dogma and who gave new theories became prominent thinkers. And we have to become prominent thinkers because we are the torch bearers of academics and knowledge.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
I could not see you, but I could not see you.
Sir, actually, the reason why I asked this question, because we cannot segregate research from the larger political context of any country.
You are right. You are absolutely right.
Sir, you must have seen that there are certain guidelines from the side of the government that the university should promote research in this line and the university should restrict researchers in this line. So it is simply a matter of restricting.
You are absolutely correct. There shall not be any restriction on research.
Absolutely, sir.
And
absolutely.
research should be pure, unbiased, as much unbiased, pure, and beneficial to the welfare of the society.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welfare of the society is the final thing. Now I can see you. Wonderful.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
I'll recognize you next time I meet you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. I think. Anybody else?
Dr. Deshpande.
Huh?
Can I a question to you, sir?
Yes, I'm sitting for that purpose only.
Yeah. Sir, normally what happens is when academic members from
You
academic
should name
fraternity.
yourself. You should
So
name yourself.
my name is Dr. Sanjay Deshpande. I'm from Karnataka.
Huh? Which place?
From Belgavi, sir. Belgavi, Karnataka.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah. My question is, when members from academic fraternity take up research and they publish research papers, they get increments, they all is fine. But what is one formula, one key strategy, one secret rather, to take it to needs of the society? What is a way out, sir? What is a way out? For example, I have approached many government government organizations, asking them to encourage research, maybe for some problem solving, but we are not encouraged. We are not encouraged.
You are perfectly right. In
Yes,
fact, unless somebody unless the baby cries.
Yes.
Unless the baby cries, it doesn't get milk even.
Exactly, sir. Exactly.
The thing what I am telling you is academicians have dual responsibility.
Yes.
It is necessary for working in research for the purpose of academics is one.
That is one.
Working
Sir. That
in
doesn't.
research for the purpose of society is another.
Yes. How do we do it, sir?
Publication in the first domain is in your journals, books, etc. Publications in the newspapers and disseminating your research to proper places is second. There are many who have been doing that over years. For example, there was one forum of free enterprises in Mumbai, which used to publish small pamphlets. And as a researcher, if I'm able to print, say 50 copies of something which I have located and I want the government to take note of and print it in such a way that they can read it within a few minutes, because government people don't have any idea of reading. They don't read.
Yeah, they don't read.
And therefore, it should be within few minutes, they should be able to read it in bold, in clear font, and send it to the proper persons. Certainly, things do make difference. You may not be mentioned, but then that fellow will take your idea. I have done so many like this, which have become prominent policy interventions in Karnataka. They have become prominent policy interventions in India too. Which college do you teach, Mr. Deshpande?
Sir, I am working with KLS Institute, sir. KLS IMER.
Okay, very nice, very nice.
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you for your answer, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Deshpande ji. I think break here because the session is to start at 2 o'clock.
Sure.
It's nice to see you after a long time. I think we are meeting after almost 5 years.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we have not forgotten each other.
Yeah,
That is
no.
called social nearness. It is not social distance.
Yes. So
The
very
physical distance is huge.
Yes, very nice talk, and I'm sure that the participants will get benefited out of this. Some ideas from your lecture, and I'll be in touch with you, sir. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.